So guys, we have arrived at the final issues of Batman 3 Jokers. Now, this is issue number 3. If you're not caught up, I'll give you guys a quick broad overview, alright? It's a really broad overview. But, way back in 2016, we had the Dark Side War. Batman got the Mobius chair, got all knowledge, and he asked, hey, what's the Joker's identity? Now, I found out there's 3 Jokers, looked into it. Now, what happened was there's 3 Jokers. There's the criminal, the clown, and the comedian. They all are teaming up. Now, Batman is teaming up with Jason Todd, Red Hood, and Batgirl to go take him down. Now, what happened was Jason Todd, Red Hood, killed the clown, that's one of the Jokers, and he's actually the one who killed Jason Todd way back when. So, Jason got his revenge. Then there's Batgirl, who's still going after the comedian, who's the one that shot her. Then there's the criminal, who's the original Joker, the one from like the 1940s. Issue number 1, Batman. Now, Batgirl and Jason went through a lot of traumatic experience, and they pretty much had a kiss, right? They almost had a relationship, so they're going through those motions, right? Will they become a relationship in this issue, or not? Was it just a moment? Now, Batman, he is going out to try and figure this all out, what's the whole connection with it, and it led him to Joe Chill. Now, I met up with Joe Chill, and Joe Chill has cancer, and he's gonna die soon. Now, Joker kidnapped Joe Chill, the criminal Joker, and he asked Joe Chill, why did you kill Martha and Thomas Wayne? Now, the criminal Joker's trying to make Joe Chill the new Joker, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that climaxes and how that comes together in this issue. Also, is this a big multiverse thing? Is there a big ending to it? Who's the real Joker? What's the true origin? One thing that's for sure, guys, Jason Fabok's artwork is amazing in this issue. I'll just say that. But guys, I'll get my thoughts at the end of the video. I'll link down in the description my other videos on 3 Jokers if you want to get caught up on that. So I gave you guys a broad overview, but you want more context? Go down below. But yeah, guys, if you're ready, let's dive into Batman 3 Jokers, number 3. The criminal, the clown, the comedian. We see a splash image of all these different people who have been infected by the Joker toxin, right? Or by the chemical, right? Ace chemical. Now, there's only been 3 that have survived. Now, there's all these different ones like the city planner, the artist, the actor, the fisherman. But the only ones that survived was the criminal, the clown, and the comedian. Now, we see Batman. He's going over all his files. He says, we know the 3 Jokers have been abducting people from across the sea in an attempt to create a better Joker. That's when Batgirl says, a better Joker? What does that even mean? And Jason says, it means the Jokers have been fooling all of us for years. Barbara says, but what's a better Joker, Bruce? And Bruce says, according to what they said to Jason, someone who has an identity behind the smile. They left Jason alive, so we know that. The 3 Jokers want me to uncover all of this. I just don't know why. Then Jason says, there are 2 Jokers left, Bruce. Not 3, 2. And when I get them in my sights, there'll be none, since you're too weak to do it. That's when Batman shrugs, grabs Jason by pretty much his jacket and says, enough. And then Barbara says, Bruce. And Bruce says, you think I haven't wanted to put a bullet in his brain too? And he yells at Jason, after everything you did to Barbara, to you. And Jason says, but you didn't, Bruce. I did. And he says, so what now? You going to arrest me? I go to court and my identity is exposed. And then Barbara's will be exposed because she'd have to testify, right? She was the only witness. I'm sure that's what you told her. Yeah, but I know the truth, Bruce. What's really keeping you from doing anything about me is that your identity would be exposed too. That's when Barbara puts her hand on Bruce's shoulder and says, stop it. And Jason says, you're not siding with him, are you? I mean, come on, Barbara. You have to see how manipulative he is. Look what he dragged us into. And Barbara says, you got your perspective on it, Jason, I understand. But Bruce has always only tried to help us. And Jason says, help me? How? You gonna throw me in a cell down here? You gonna try and lock me up and forget about me like you did after I died? And Bruce says, you don't understand. You never did. And he takes his hands off of Jason's jacket. That's what Bruce says. We agreed to work together on this. Let's start over and do that. Jason says, yeah, whatever. That's when Bruce goes back to the files and says the Jokers exposed dozens to these chemicals, criminals and doctors, people from different backgrounds, each one a candidate for this better Joker. A failed chemist, a deranged stalker, none have survived the process except these 3. He says, the criminal. From what you say, Jason, he seems more focused on their goal and less interested in the theatrics. He reminds me of our earliest confrontations. So way back, In the first, pretty much Batman #1, the original Joker. That's pretty much who the criminal is. Now, that's what Batman says. The clown, who we face in the aquarium. He embraced a lethal campiness like a children's show host. The comedian. There's something underneath that smile. A sadistic streak, stronger than the others. That's when Barbara says, "What are you thinking, Bruce? That one of these three is the original?" And Bruce says, "Yes. And then that one made 2 others at some point in time. It's all a joke to him." Then Barbara says, "Or maybe it isn't. Maybe he made the other 2 trying to hide his true identity. Maybe we can finally find out who the Joker really is." And Jason says, "He's probably some nobody." And Barbara says, "Is there anything else you can tell us, Bruce?" And Bruce says, "Yes, I'm sorry, I failed you, Jason." And Barbara puts her hand on the Joker photograph, right? And Bruce says, "Let me help you find a better path, Jason. A new identity. Leave Red Hood behind. It's not too late." Jason looks away, looks at him, and says, "No." And Barbara says, "Jason, he's trying." And Jason says, "Let's focus on stopping the Jokers, okay?" And then he thinks. He says, I don't need help." And he remembers Joker, the criminal, smacking him by the head with the Red Hood mask on with a smile. Him falling to the ground. Jason says, "I'm good." And then he says, "I just want to find the Joker to be done with it all. But first, answer Barbara's question, Bruce. You got something else to add here?" Bruce puts his hand on the file and says, "No." And Jason says, "I don't believe you. You know his real name, don't you?" And Barbara says, "What? You think you'd keep that from us if you knew?" And Jason says, "Do you, Bruce?" And Bruce says, "If I did, you know it too." Then they hear a beep. Now we transition and we see Commissioner Gordon. And he shows up to this one van, right? And Joe Chill is gone. He says, "They took him." Batman shows up. And Commissioner Gordon says, "They took Joe Chill." And Batman says, "I want to see his cell." Now we shift to Joe Chill's cell and it's empty. Batman walks through. He goes up to a library case. He grabs a book, pulls it out. But that's when he sees all these different letters to Bruce Wayne. Now he starts going through them. Bruce Wayne. Then Commissioner Gordon says, "What is it?" And Batman says, "Letters." And that's when a cop comes in and says, "He wrote them all the time. Sorry, I just heard you were here. And you're gonna catch him, aren't you?" And Batman says, "Joe Chill?" And the cop says, "No, the Joker." That's when Batman says, "If these are letters, why not mail them?" And the cop says, "You have to ask Reverend Evans about those questions." So that's when we shift to Barbara and Jason outside the asylum. And it's actually a really beautiful image by Jason Fabok. We see the motorcycle and everything. Batgirl's just looking out. Jason looks away, then says, "Hey, can we talk? I know I screwed up." And Barbara says, "Screwed up? Jason, do you understand the position you put both me and Bruce in by killing the Joker? We're trapped. We have no choice but to let you walk away from it." And Jason says, "I won't ever do anything like that again, really." Barbara looks at him, then looks away. "I hope not, because next time I'll unmask if I have to." She looks away, and they both walk separate ways. Now, that's when Reverend Evans says he was full of regrets for what he did. "You do know what Joseph Chill did, don't you?" And Batman says, "Everyone in Gotham knows what Joe Chill did to be put in Blackgate, Reverend Evans." Then he says, Chill wrote a dozen letters to Bruce Wayne, apologizing. As near as I could tell, though, none of them are finished." And Reverend Evans says, "Joseph dropped out of school when he was 13. He was doing his best in classes here, but his learning disabilities slowed him down." That's what Batman says, "So he gets sick and he wants to repent?" And Reverend Evans says, "Oh no, Joseph started writing those long before he fell ill. He was truly a changed man." Now, that's when we see a crowbar hit wood and smack it down. We see the Monarch Theater, the theater that Bruce and his parents came out of that night. And we see darkness. We go into the darkness, and Reverend Evans says he talked about the darkness within his soul often, a darkness he was trying to understand. He didn't deny what he'd done. In fact, he tried to explain it. And Batman says, "How?" And Reverend Evans says, in those letters, Batman takes out one of the letters. It says, "Bruce Wayne." It's from afar. Reverend Evans says, "Why would anyone want to take him? What do they want him for?" That's when Batman starts going through them. He sees more letters to Bruce Wayne. Then he sees a letter to Batman. And Batman says, "I'm going to find out." And he sees pretty much like an invitation to Monarch Theater. Now, that's when we see the Batmobile and Batgirl on her motorcycle driving on the roads. Batman and Jason are inside the Batmobile. They don't even talk. It's silence. They make it to the Monarch Theater. They all make it there. There's 3 different doors. A locked one, a one into the Monarch Theater, and one to the side. Now, that's when Batman goes a separate way. Jason goes a separate way. Batgirl goes to the rooftop. That's when Batgirl gets inside. Batman gets inside. Jason breaks the lock and gets inside. All 3 of them walk inside at the same time. That's when Batgirl starts going down some steps. Jason gets his gun ready. We see Batman walk into the theater. That's when Batman walks down the rows. And you hear, and then a big light comes out. And that's what Joker says, "Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. The show is about to begin." Now, that's when he says, "It's time to finally confess, Mr. Chill. Why did you really kill Thomas and Martha Wayne?" Now, that's when Joe Chill says, I don't know what you mean." Then Joker says, "Oh, sure you do, Mr. Chill. I've read all your letters, the minister's notes. You've seen the lights." And that's when Batgirl goes by a door, and she starts to hear a little laughter. Then all these Jokers start attacking Batgirl. A bunch of laughter is heard, and Batgirl says, "They're upstairs," and Jason says, "And downstairs." That's when the criminal Joker says, as he looks at Batman, "It has come. It all comes to this moment, Batman." And that's what he says, "You, me, and him at the scene of the crime." And then he says, yes, the other 2 are present." We see Batgirl fighting Jokers. Batman looks up. Jason fighting Jokers. And that's when Joker says, "The cripple and the child. I thought about them, but as you know, the boy lacks sophistication, and the girl has too much heart, so I picked the killer." And that's when Joker says, "Come on, Chill. Give me something to grab onto." And that's what Joe Chill says. The truth is, when I saw the Waynes coming down the alley, I knew who they were." Then Joker says to Batman, "Batman." And that's what Joe Chill says, "And I hate them for what they did. They had everything." That's what Joker, the criminal Joker, opens his jacket and shows a bomb attached to him. He says, "Keep your distance until I say so." That's what Batman says, "You want to make a new Joker, and you think that's Joe Chill." And Joker says, "How can it not be?" And you see Batgirl fighting off against these Jokers, one by one, smacking in the face. But that's when one of the Jokers is shot in the face, and that's when Barbara says, "Red Hood?" But the comedian Joker comes out of the shadows and says, "Close." And Batgirl looks, and the comedian Joker says, "Smile." And that's when we see the criminal Joker. He continues to say, "I want you to know why I'm making a new Joker, Batman, because I want it to mean more to you than anyone. Right now, I'm nothing but undefined chaos." And that's when we go back to the video, and Joker says, "Tell us more, Joey. Get it off your chest." Now, the criminal Joker says, "I need to be more. I need to be everything to you." And he can do that. He can be the Joker who matters. Now, that's when he starts raising Joe Chill above the chemicals. He's a sick old man, that's all. And Joker says, "Sick? I'm betting this little bath will put him in remission. A simple trait of physical health and mental health." And then we hear this voice in the background, "Don't make me ask again, Mr. Chill. Tell me more." And as Joe Chill is lowered into the chemicals slowly, he says, "The Waynes, I figured there were people like me. Because of people like them, I was angry, bitter, lost. I thought I'd take whatever they had on them, but their boy." We see Red Hood. He shoots one of the Jokers. He goes up the stairs, says, "Batgirl." And that's when Joe Chill continues, "I didn't see their boy with them." Now, Red Hood sees Batgirl. Red Hood says, "Yeah, kick their asses." And Batgirl says, "Behind you." And Joe Chill says, "Not until it's too late." And the comedian Joker shoots Red Hood in the shoulder. And Red Hood screams, "Ah!" And then the comedian Joker gets above him and says, "Now whose brains will be all over the floor?" And Batgirl smacks him and says, "What's that you said?" Smile. She takes the camera, hits him in his face, and we see the criminal Joker. He's talking to Batman. He says, "As soon as Joe Chill is reborn, I can rest." And that's when he starts shooting at Batman, and you hear a rata rata. And that's when Joe Chill continues, Before I knew it, the gun was going off. And Batman tries to avoid the shots. You hear more tot, tot. And Joe Chill continues, I found out later who the Waynes really were. Criminal Joker drops his lighter, it goes on fire, and Batman comes in, swinging it. It's an awesome image by Jason Fabok. There were people trying to help Gotham with all they had. There were good people. You see the lighter fall. Batman kicks the Criminal Joker in the stomach. The lighter falls in the chemicals. Joe Chill says, and I took them from their son. All these years, I still don't know how to tell them. I'm sorry. Now, you see the lighter fall into the acid, and you hear a big boom. And that's when fire starts to erupt. That's when the Criminal Joker gets out his knife, tries to stab Batman, and that's when he begins to laugh. The comedian Joker laughs. That's when the comedian Joker says, I can't remember the last time I had this much fun, and we're just getting started. He continues to laugh, and Batgirl's hit by fire, and you hear a big crum. And that's when Jason says, where'd he go? The camera is on fire. It's pretty much gone. It's going to ash. Now, that's when the Criminal Joker says, this isn't over. No, this is still happening. Another criminal falls into the burning bath, and another Joker is born. He cuts the rope. And Batman looks as Joe Chill starts to fall, and Joker begins to laugh. And that's when Batman jumps in, gets his grappling hook, it makes a sound of shoom. And that's when Joe Chill sees the flash of pretty much his death in front of his eyes. Batman catches him in his big image. You see the bat signal. He saves Joe Chill. The Criminal Joker keeps running toward the wall. He looks and sees Batman. He says, ha! And that's when Batman kicks him into the wall. You hear a big croom. And that's when the Criminal Joker falls into the ashes. And Batman goes toward him, and Joe Chill says, and he looks up at Batman in the shadows. He goes toward him, and Joe Chill says, I know who you are. And Batman keeps looking. He remembers that night when his parents were killed. And Joe Chill says, they talk about you in Blackgate. You know what I did here? Are you going to kill me? And Batman says, no. And Joe Chill says, I deserve it. I truly am sorry. Batman looks. Then you hear a big rumble. And Joe Chill starts to scream, ah! And then Batman goes to save him. He saves him, and Joe Chill looks up and says, thank you. And Batman says, you're welcome. That's when a laugh starts to be heard from afar. Then the Joker says, I had hoped to extend this game a little more, but now we all go together. And then he says, God, it hurts to laugh. Then you hear a big blam, and a shot goes right through the Criminal Joker's head. The comedian Joker's right there. And he says, and then there was one, and then you see a big boom. It's just a flag. And the comedian Joker says, take me in, Batsy. I want to get off this crazy ride. And Batman looks. He's confused. And that's when the Joker, the comedian Joker, starts laughing. Now we shift to outside, and Jason says, so that's it? He takes the last Joker back to Arkham and then sends me home? Get the Batmobile back to the cave. And that's what Barbara says, give him a chance, Jason. Give yourself one too. And Jason says, what about a chance with us? And Barbara says, Jason, I think we're interpreting what happened with us very differently. I'm sorry. Then Jason says, right, sorry. I'm sorry. See ya. And he walks away. Now Commissioner Gordon comes up to Barbara and says, Batgirl, you okay? And Barbara says, I'm fine, Commissioner. And Commissioner Gordon says, I just know facing the Joker can't be easy for you. I kept my mouth shut about it, but I do have to say something. You have my support as much as Batman does, but Red Hood, he isn't someone you should be involved with. Now Batgirl says, as she drives away, what I do with him isn't your business, Dad. She drives away. Now we see Batman inside a van that's going to Blackgate Penitentiary, or actually more like Arkham Asylum. And Batman and Joker look at each other, and Batman remembers Joe Chill saying, I truly am sorry. Batman looks at the Joker, and the comedian Joker, the only Joker left, says, see now, after all that drama, don't you feel better, Brucey? And Batman looks. Joker continues, Bruce Wayne, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd, I know, but I don't care. I won't tell. The world can never know your true name. You might stop doing this if I do. Batman says, what do you want? And Joker says, what do I want? Certainly not what the others did. The clown your troubled Robin put a bullet in. Why, all he wanted to do was laugh at the suffering of others. How common they could use. And the criminal, that old man was so delusional. This whole big idea created a better Joker. Well, that lunacy now, wasn't it? A defied Joker, one with a name, an identity. Why, that ruins the very definition of me. That's why I regret making him. Or does he regret making me? He begins to laugh, but then Batman says, what's the punchline here, Joker? And Joker says, oh, this isn't a joke, Batman. There's no final twist. Not until I decide to put my hand and the knife in your hearts. The criminal was wrong. I am chaos. I am the devil. I am nothing to you and everything. It isn't the Joker that was broken. It was Batman. Now, he finishes off with broken by a pain greater than anything I could ever do to you. So, I convinced them that Joe Chill would be the perfect, brand spanking new clown, Prince of Crime. The man who sent Gotham to hell. He bought it, and I let it all play out just like I knew it would. You saved the man who killed Thomas and Martha Wayne, who sent Gotham, and you spiraling into the drain of despair. You saw the old regretful sad sack Chills become. You felt his pain and gave relief into yours. I healed your grace womb, so how I can be your grace pain? Me! That's when he says, I'll cut you, I'll hurt you. I'll keep twisting that knife until the day we both die together. And he finishes off with a loud laugh. Then, we shift to Batman at the hospital. In the final moments of Joe Chill, he looks at the letter. Joe Chill dies. Now, Batman goes to the gravestone of Joseph Chill. He sees it. Flashlight lit on. Then it goes away. Now, that's when we go somewhere in Alaska. Bruce drives in. And that's when Alfred says, the world can never know your true name. He says, it's over for now, Bruce. And he says, Bruce? Bruce is looking at a picture of the Joker. And Bruce says, even if Jason had killed them all, it'll never be over for Barbara. Or him, Alfred. Now, we see Barbara. She's right on the treadmill. And Jason is writing a letter. He says, Dear Barbara, I want to make a change, but I can't do that without you. I know I've come across cold and distant, but I know you know why. I've always admired you, Barbara, your strength, your determination, your heart. You think what happened was a mistake, that it was a moment. But I think we could be great together, I really do. I'll give up being Red Hood for us. I can be something else. Or I can be just Jason. All I need is one chance to prove to you I can be better. And I'll devote my life to make you proud, happy, loved. If you don't think I'm worth one chance, if it was all just you caught up in everything, then throw this letter away. Whatever happens, I love you. Yours truly, Jason. Now, we go back to Alaska and Alfred says, all this hate's coming from someone you don't even know. I wonder if we'll ever figure out who he really is. And Bruce looks, and he remembers. We see a flashback to the Killing Joke. The wife of the Joker says, Jesus, all I said was, and the Joker says, you said oh, as in oh, so you didn't get a job? As in oh, so how are we going to feed the baby? You think I'm not worried about that? Now we go Bruce. He says, not to sound like people think I do, Alfred, but I'm Batman. I knew the Joker's name 1 week after we first met. And Alfred says, what? And we go to another flashback. And the wife says, he'll never let me leave him. My child, I can't bear to think that what he'll do to the baby. And the cop said, it's okay, lady. The boys pulled together some money. We'll help you however we can. We see Bruce. He makes it in Alaska with a very good trench coat. Now, that's when we go back to another flashback to the Killing Joke. And the Joker says, listen, what's the problem here? And the cops say, sir, I'm sorry, but your wife had an incident this morning. Apparently testing a baby bottle heater. There is an electrical short, well, she died, sir. I'm sorry. Now, Bruce says, no one can ever know his name, Alfred. Because if the world knows it, his family will never be left alone. The press will find him. The Joker will find him. So yes, I know his name. But the Joker's name isn't what's important. It never has been. That's when Bruce drives away in his car, leaving Alaska, and leaving the wife and the child of the Joker safe, hidden in pretty much a house in this cold winter of Alaska. And that's how we close out Batman 3 Jokers. So guys, that was Batman 3 Jokers number 3, and I really like the issue. It's pretty cool. The artwork, I'll go with that first, alright? Because that's the best thing, in my opinion. The artwork by Jason Fabok looked phenomenal, guys. The one part where like Batman and Joker are fighting, there's like fire coming up of Ace Chemical. I was like, damn. When I was reading that, I just stopped for a second. I was like, ooh, that looks pretty good. I like that. You know, art is so good when you stop reading the comic for a second just to kind of look at the art. Like, it's that good. But still, there's a lot of action. Jason Fabok did a great job with that. And he did a great job with showing all the panels. There's actually a lot of scenes in this issue where it's like no dialogue, like a page of no dialogue, but there's a 9-panel grid. Like the one scene where Batgirl, Red Hood, and Batman are going different directions into Monarch Theater, that was really well done, well choreographed, and it's all the praise goes to Jason Fabok there, right? I really like that. He did a phenomenal job in this entire series, and he's probably one of my favorite writers, up there with Jorge Jimenez, alright? He's really good. But yeah, guys, tell me your thoughts on Jason Fabok's art down below. I'm pretty sure everybody agrees with me. His art's great. Like, how could you not like it? Like, come on. But yeah, let's get to the writing, the actual story. Now, let's start out with the simple stuff. Barbara and Jason, will they become a couple? No, and I'm actually kind of cool with that, because it felt kind of like a forced last issue. I was fine with it. Like, it wasn't too bad, but this issue really sold the idea that, no, they're not really a couple, they're not meant for each other, and that whole note at the end, which is like, hey, here's a note, if you love me, we could have a relationship. I just felt like that's a nail in the coffin. That's not happening. And come on, Jason, you know better. Why would you give a note to her like that? Why not just ask her out, do the regular stuff, not go this whole, we have traumas, we have this, we lived through this. Like, come on, imagine you're Barbara, you get that note, you're like, damn, like, he's going full on. Like, he's going a little strong with it. But still, I wasn't a big fan of that. Like, this Jason and Barbara could work, alright? And I get the whole thing that, okay, they have like a age gap and stuff. Yeah, that's kind of weird, but at the same time, they can still work as a couple if DC wanted to do that. But how they did in this issue, it just felt like another plot point that was just put in just to fill in pages. Which I don't really like that, because yeah, they could do a great job with it, maybe made it a little better, but it went to the whole generic thing, like, okay, they meet up, Jason's like, hey, you want to talk? Barbara's like, no, just a moment. Jason then gives her a note, says, hey, if you want to be a couple, we can do it, but if you don't, put this thing in the trash, we'll act like it never happened. Now, that whole thing is just saying, like Jeff Johns telling us, well, pretty much this is not going to be picked up. DC said no, so Jason and Barbara most likely not going to happen unless another writer pulls it up. So I felt like that whole plot point was just kind of filler, in my opinion, right? Like, I'm fine with Barbara and Jason sharing trauma, that's all good. But the whole thing with the relationship, that was just put in there, like shoehorned in, alright? They could have did better. Now, with Batman and the Joker, right? Now, the clown's dead, but the comedian and the criminal, very interesting Jokers, alright? Let's talk about the criminal first. He kidnaps Joe Chill, leads Batman, Jason, Barbara over to pretty much Ace Chemical. They fight. The criminal has this whole speech talking about how he wants to make Joe Chill the new Joker, make Joker matter to Batman. I really like that, right? That was really interesting and cool. And just the whole fight scene between the criminal and Batman, it just reminds me of old Batman comics when Joker and Batman would fight. Like, that's just so nostalgia, and it's really cool, right? The artwork just sold that, right? Also, the whole thing in Monarch Theater, on like the theater, like pretty much screen, you see like Joe Chill explain how, hey, he felt like the Waynes were bad people, but they actually aren't, and he feels a lot of sorry for them. Now, I feel like that was really deep. It was really good. I like how Joe Chill's exploring this issue, but toward the end where Batman just shows up and sees Joe Chill die and look at his gravestone, I feel like that could be expanded upon. I like that. It hit home. Like that whole thing of Batman and Joe Chill, Batman saving Joe Chill, that whole, like, pretty much the whole arc between them, and Batman forgiving him, Joe Chill just dying, like, okay, I said sorry to him. And he forgives me. That's actually really strong writing. But instead of doing this whole background Jason relationship, put that to the side and do more Batman Joe Chill at the end. But something that really hits on me and farther, like really make that emotional scene, and then he dies. Instead of just, alright, he dies, gravestone, done, and page. Like, they could expand on that a little more. Now, Criminal Joker just killed by the comedian. By the way, comedian fought against Batgirl Jason. That whole scene was dope. I like how Batgirl got the camera slammed in his head and then the camera fell in the fire. Like, the visuals were just really well done. The choreograph, cool, alright? But we saw the clown kill the criminal, and then she said, alright, Batsy, take me in. I like that. That was cool. Now, the part with Batman and Joker in the van going to Arkham Asylum, and Joker pretty much says, I created them. I know he says, oh, it could be the criminal, but we know it's the comedian. He's the real Joker. The Killing Joke Joker is the one, alright? And his origin story is the one from the Killing Joke. It pretty much just labels that and confirms that, and I do like that in some sense. I know some people be triggered that, oh, they gave Joker an origin. The whole point is that he's unpredictable. It doesn't have an origin. But at the same time, I feel like Jeff Johns was kind of going back and forth. He was like, this is the Joker's origin, but at the same time, the comedian Joker's saying, hey, that's what's great about me. I have no origin. I am so unpredictable. So it shows Jeff Johns knows the character. I don't think people should get triggered over that. And it's kind of hard to appease all these DC fans and everybody who's a fan of Joker when you choose one side where it's like, oh, Joker has a new origin. Some fans are happy. But then you choose another one, oh, Joker doesn't get an origin. He's still unpredictable. We're still at phase 1. We're back where we started. Other fans are mad. But then there's some fans who are happy about that because they're like, they didn't want change. So people who want change from the Joker in the series, they'll be happy for a second and then disappointed. People who didn't want change will be fine with it, right? They'll be like, okay, a good story, I appreciate it. And me, I'm kind of in the middle. Yes, I wanted to kind of add some more to the Joker. I was excited about that. And it's kind of disappointing not seeing nothing really added to it. Like, yeah, we got the ending with the Alaska thing, and that Batman knew his identity a week afterwards, and that he sent the wife and the child to Alaska. The thing I'm confused about, though, is, okay, so let me get this straight. Before the Joker was born, right? Or not born, like, he wasn't a baby. But, like, before he became the Joker, right? And Batman decided to send the wife and the child to Alaska because he thought he may be a threat. That doesn't really make as much sense. I get it if, okay, he becomes a Joker, he starts going crazy, he sends the wife and child away. But at the same time, like, okay, it makes it really cool to the Killing Joke, that whole flashback. I like that. Okay, the cops tell him that, oh, the wife and child died, but I feel like that makes it even worse. Because, okay, you're trying to pretty much save this wife and child, but at the same time, what about this guy? I get he becomes the Joker, I get that, his life's uncontrollable, right? But his wife and child can actually kind of help him. If you remove that, he's gonna go even more spiraling down madness. I'm just saying. Now, we see Batman, and he just walks by the coat, sees the wife and child, and he starts explaining why he asked that question about the Joker. That the identity of Joker is not what really matters. Now, going back to pretty much Darkseid War, this whole Three Jokers ain't no multiversal thing, alright? I think some people wanted it to be, which if it was, I'd be so down for that. It'd be dope. But I still like what we got. Because going back to it, some people are asking, like, hey, he asked, like, what is the Joker's identity? Why not ask how to stop him with his other questions? And why not just say, oh, it's the comedian. It's, you know, the Killing Joke Joker. Why not say that? Instead, it said Three Jokers. This is the Metron chair we're talking about. And why did Batman ask this question if he already knew the Joker's identity? Well, the big thing is he asked the question before that. Who killed my parents? Something like that, and the answer is Joe Chill. Now, that's a very obvious question. He's testing the Metron chair. And I think he's doing the same thing with the Joker, and he knew the Joker's identity, but he was surprised when he heard Three Jokers. He's like, whoa, what? There's Three Jokers? What do you mean? And it makes sense how, okay, this Joker created other Jokers in a quick time, like really quickly. But I think a lot of people took that scene with Batman in the Knowledge Chair and thinking about Three Jokers and kind of theorized. I think we have way too much time to theorize. 4 years. That's a long time to theorize, and we came with all these cool plots, all these cool ways to reinvent the Joker, make it awesome. And then when we get this thing that it's understandable, it makes sense, it goes with the story, I really like it, it's great writing, it is. But we expected more. I think we got our expectation a little high, and I remember when I actually put this book down, I was reading it. I was like, okay, that was an awesome book, and yeah, it's nothing like super big memorable, it's not the best Batman story of all time that some people wanted to be, and I kind of wanted to be, but it's still a really good crafted book. Great artwork, well done choreography, It's well paced. There's a lot going on. There's different action. The Joker is really cool. The scenes between Batman and the Joker is great. The Joe chill. The twist at the end with the killing Joker was a little didn't really make as much sense, but the final line really brought it together. Now, one thing they could just remove was the whole Batgirl Jason thing, right? They can still have trauma, but the whole relationship thing, I feel like that was just trade water to fill pages. We could have got more Joe chill or some other interesting stuff. But yeah, guys, that's my overall thoughts on this entire series and this book. I think it was a good series, a well-done book. It's an amazing crafted book, great art, writing. I really loved it. But yeah, we kind of expected more. It's been so long since we got that reveal, and we expected so much, and it kind of just, not average, above average. And I know some people may not like it, some people may love it, but it's your opinion. And this is mine, alright? So let's talk down below, talk about it, go through thoughts, go through theories, and talk how this concluded. What do we think about it, right? I like to know all you guys' thoughts down below, alright? So I'm really interested to see the comments. But yeah, guys, overall, we're gonna give this issue an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a solid ending. It was good. Now, it's no 10 out of 10, it's no 9 out of 10. I don't definitely recommend it, but I still recommend it, alright? I still think you should check it out. Come on. It's 3 Jokers, it's Batman, Joe Chill, Jason Fabok. That's enough to get you to buy it, alright? But yeah, guys, like to give a big thumbs up. New channel, make sure to my next DC Comics review. I do Batman, Joker, all sorts of stuff on this channel. If you're a big Batman fan, I actually do a lot of Batman stuff. That's probably my main thing. It's between Batman and the Flash. Also, I'm doing reactions very soon. So there's a lot going on this channel, and I try to cover it the best to my ability, alright? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.